Welcome to the Tuckerton Seaport. I'm Mary May. I'm a local basket maker, and today we'll be making the South Jersey berry basket. Inside this package is the material and instructions to complete your basket. Materials inside of this kit, you'll receive one stave with a split in it halfway up. There will be a piece of sandpaper, a couple of clothespins, stave material. The stave material is the material that's 3/8 wide, and your weaving material. Your weaving material is 1/4 inch wide. I've included instructions to assist with making your basket. Additionally, you'll need a screwdriver, a sharp pair of cutters, a pencil for markings, and a ruler to measure. The material is dry and it needs to be placed in water and soaked for about 10 minutes to make it pliable. Prepping the material, you'll notice that you have one stave, 1/2 inch wide, that will measure 17 inches long, okay? And the split here, it sits at about 7 inches. You'll set this aside. Then you're gonna take the 3/8 wide material. Using your ruler, you're going to go to the 16-inch mark, and if it's 16 inches or 17 inches, it's fine. And you're going to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 extra. So let's say 6. Okay, you'll have 6 pieces. But the 6th piece is going to become your handle, so set that aside. This material gets collected and placed into the basin. While your staves are soaking in the water, you're going to take the sandpaper and you're going to sand the length of your weaver. Once sanded, you'll coil the material up and place it in the basin alongside of your staves. And yes, this is a nice long weaver, which you'll be happy for while you're weaving your basket. Once your material's soaked, you're gonna find the split piece and you're gonna lay it down on the table in front of you. You're gonna use your hand as an anchor. Your other hand is gonna place the material one to the left, one to the right, adjusting them so they're about at the same length on both ends. And then you're going to weave over, under, over. Then you're going to weave under the next one, over the center one, and out to the side. And finally, the third one follows the first one, over one, under one, and over one, just like the first one you put in. So now you have all 6 pieces in your basket, okay? And they need to you wanna be able to just see through this spot right here, okay? And you're balanced on the ends. So this square, okay, and this square is approximately, I'm just kind of guessing here, is about 1 inch and 3/4. So this square is 1 inch and 3/4 by 1 inch and 3/4. And that's your first step. Okay, the next step will be bending. These are called staves. So you're gonna bend them up and you're gonna let them lay back down. And you're gonna do all the pieces. Okay, so up and down, up and down. I just hold my finger here, I bring it up, and I let it relax back down. Bring it up, let it relax back down. You're gonna completely go around the basket till you've touched each one of the staves and you bend them up and bring them down. Okay, and even if you're square, I know I said 1 3/4 inches, but even if it's 2 inches, that's fine too. Okay. Now we're going to work with the weaver. We're going to take the weaver out of the basin take the clothespin off. You're gonna take one of the ends, okay? And I always say about an arm's length, so bring it to about where your elbow is, and that's long enough. And you're going to make a diagonal cut using your sharp pair of scissors. So what I like to do is I just go down the middle of the weaver and I keep cutting it, and I'm gonna cut it to the end. You'll end up with two pieces. The short piece is the unwanted piece. The other piece will begin the end that you start with. Ready to move on? So you're going to take your base, just give it a little bit of water, bring it back to your workspace, make sure everything's in the same shape as it's supposed to be. Sometimes I draw a pencil line just to give me a definition. In case it moves, I know where to put it back to. Take your weaver from the water. Take the skinny end, the one that we cut. Open up your bundle, and this is the piece you're going to start with. We're going to start right here where the split is. The split is very important. That's your starting point. So as you see, we're going to go start to the inside, which is right here, and it's over and under, over and under. So when you go under, do not twist this, follow the shape, and then you're going to go in front of and behind. Or you can say to the inside and to the outside, and you're going to pick one up at a time and go around the entire basket. What's fun about this basket, it's a continuous weave, and a continuous weave allows you to go from one side to the inside to the outside. You're going to keep going. If at some point the weaver's a little bit loose, you take your clothespin and you can clamp it on temporarily. So you can just clamp it down so your fingers can do all the work. And then again, give yourself a little patience and you're going to make a beautiful basket. Okay, so now I'm back to the beginning, as you can see. And once you get past this, the basket sort of locks. So you'll do row 2, row 1 is on the inside of the basket, row 2 is on the outside of the basket. Remove the clothespin and keep moving. And I will say those first 3 rows are going to be more challenging than the rest of the basket. So you're sort of making a cup design. You'll continue weaving. You'll continue weaving, the continuous weave. Okay, and so you go over one and under one, picking up the stave, letting it lay back down. And you will always go, again, if you want to use your clothespin, just anchor it down. Just like having a friend with you to hold down the material. Okay, so you're on the outside, the inside, and I'll turn it so you can see really what your goal is. You're going to pack your row down, and you're going to weave with a little bit of tension. So you're not really pulling it, but you're not letting it loose either. Just the right amount of tension. Take your clothespin off, keep turning the basket. Soon you won't need the clothespin, and you're on your way. And I'm going to just continue around, shaping. you notice, I just went like that. I pushed against it. I'm flaring these out. So see how all these staves are crisscrossing? We don't want them. The staves don't like each other. They like to stay away from each other. So as long as they stay away from each other, you're going to get the shape. And they like to go back and they like to crisscross on you. So there's a point where you can be too tight and there's a point where you can be too loose. I constantly straighten them and turn. And you'll pick up the rhythm. They set themselves after a few rounds of weaving. This is the view from the top, and I just want you to know that if at any time you feel that the material's getting too dry, just dunk it in your basin of water. And that's what I just did. And now I'll just weave on its side. And you're gonna go around and round. And once in a while you'll take a look, make sure the shape looks nice. The staves are pretty well balanced, the space in between here. Back to weaving. Okay, I'm just going to weave to the top of the basket. All right, I have just woven about 13 rows. 15 is a pretty good goal. So I'm going to put a couple more rows in. And as you can see, it looks pretty well shaped, and I controlled the shape by controlling the space from stave to stave. Okay, and that's how you'll do the same thing. Nice and balanced. Okay. So remember where we began. We began where the split is. Count 15 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And I'm at 15. You're going to cut yourself, wrap it back around. You're going to cut. And remember what we did in the beginning, the diagonal cut. You're going to diagonally cut. And then you're going to weave this piece in. And then the portion of the basket that's woven is completed. But there's a little bit of a finishing off that we'll do. Okay, so we're finished. Pretty much, we're back, packed pretty well. If you have any gaps or anything, now's the time to correct them, which is just packing. Packing is from the base of the basket to the top of the basket, just simply with your fingers. And you do all 4 sides. You want everybody to be balanced. Okay, so now I'm back to the beginning, and here we are. Okay, the basket is completely woven. We're going to finish the basket. So remember the piece, the extra piece? This will become your handle. So now is a great time to put it in the water. And now we're going to do finishing the basket, which is called snipping and tucking. So every time the stave is on the outside of the basket, you're going to cut it tall. When it's on the inside of the basket, you're going to cut it off. So it's not every other one, even though you want it to be. So pay attention. So this is when it's on the stave is on the outside of the basket. And remember, it's going to get folded over later on and tucked into it. So this one stands tall. And this one, when you fold it over, there's nothing to fold it over. And that's the short one. Cut them off. And you're here. You're going to take them all, bend them to the inside. Just bend them, so bend them over. Okay. And these are just a hair long, in my opinion, so I'm going to trim them a little bit more. go in real quick and out. All right. We're going to go to the tucking. The tucking is quite simple. Open these up so you can see what I'm doing. You take them. If these are not wet, remember, just put it back in the basin for a couple of minutes. And in it goes. So I tuck it right into its weaving rows. And I press against it with my finger, I bend it over, and I slide it right into the basket. I bend it over, open up the space, and slide it in. And lastly, very nice. Okay, we're nearing the end of the weaving and finishing off the handle. So as you can see, the two thin pieces are the split piece. So if this is 12 o'clock, I look at this at 12 o'clock, or at the top you'll go 1, 2, 3 staves over, put an X, go back to this and go 1, 2, 3 staves. Okay, so if you're looking at this at 12 o'clock, it's at 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So it's here. So it's the split 1, 2, 3, the split 1, 2, 3. I like to put the little X's there to remind me where I'm going. You had already soaked your long piece for your handle. You're gonna clip both ends. And you're going to go to the 1X. You're going to slide it in. 1, 2, 3. I bend it and pop it out. And remember, the basket is still wet. And that's what lets you bend these things pretty easily. Slide them back under the 1 and the 2 and give the handle a pull. Bend the handle over. Find your other X. Decide how tall or how short you'd like your handle. Squeeze it. Go 1, 1, 2, 3. Let it poke out. I think that looks pretty nice right there. Okay, we'll bend this back up. Trim this a little, I don't need it that long. And just pull the handle up. And you are finished. Little things to know. All of these fibers, they're natural. I call it basket grooming, so give your basket a nice little groom. Snip all those pieces off. You can do it when it's dry, you can do it when it's wet. These baskets must air dry, which just means let them hang out in the open air. Okay, once they're dry, you'll use them for whatever you like to use them for. They were originally called a South Jersey berry basket, and today they're used for various things. You can put a little cup inside and make it a flower vase. You can put beads inside and use it for pencils and pens, whatever you'd like. Thank you for watching. My name is Mary May, and you can always find my baskets at the Tuckerton Seaport. Thank you.